January always felt the same. It was a time of reflection, a moment to assess the past year and eagerly anticipate the possibilities of the new one, full of big promises and fresh starts. I'd meticulously craft resolutions, envisioning a transformed version of myself. I'd buy new workout clothes, convinced that the right gear would fuel my fitness journey. A journal, ready to capture my thoughts, dreams, and daily progress. A stack of books, promising to unlock the secrets to self-improvement and lasting happiness. And for a week, maybe even two, I was unstoppable. I felt like I could conquer anything I set my mind to. Early mornings, filled with purpose and energy, long runs, pushing my physical limits and feeling invigorated. Writing, pouring my heart and soul onto the pages, reflecting on my journey. Meditation, finding inner peace and clarity amidst the chaos of daily life. I felt electric, convinced this time would be different. This time, I would stick to my resolutions and finally achieve the life I envisioned. But then life happened, as it always does. A late night at work, a stressful day, unexpected obligations pulling me in different directions, and suddenly my perfect routine cracked. The carefully constructed foundation began to crumble. One missed workout became 3. Excuses piled up, and the gym became a distant memory. The journal gathered dust, its blank pages a stark reminder of my broken promises. Guilt crept in, a heavy weight on my shoulders. I felt like I was failing myself, reinforcing the belief that I lacked discipline, that I was simply not capable of achieving my goals. The all-or-nothing mindset took over, a familiar and destructive pattern. If I couldn't do it perfectly, I did nothing at all. It was easier to give up than to face the perceived failure. This cycle repeated for years, a relentless loop of hope, effort, and disappointment. Each failure made the next attempt harder, chipping away at my self-esteem. My ambitions grew taller, my belief in myself shrank. The gap between my dreams and my perceived abilities widened. I was exhausted by the constant battle between my aspirations and reality. The mental and emotional toll was immense. The problem wasn't desire. I wanted to improve. I genuinely yearned for a better version of myself. The problem was my approach, my flawed strategy for achieving lasting change. Sprinting a marathon, burning out fast. I was expending all my energy at the beginning, leaving nothing for the long haul. I didn't realize the secret wasn't running faster, pushing myself to the absolute limit, but taking small, consistent steps, building momentum gradually, one day at a time. I was about to learn that real change isn't about grand gestures, dramatic transformations, or overnight success. It's about showing up, even in the smallest way, every single day, even when you don't feel like it. That's how you break the cycle, by consistently choosing progress over perfection. That's how you finally move forward, not in leaps and bounds, but steadily and surely. Not with a burst, but with a steady, quiet persistence, a commitment to showing up day after day. And that's where my story really began. Not with grand resolutions, but with small, consistent steps. We're drawn to grand transformations. Lose 30 pounds, write a novel, learn a language by summer. The initial motivation is intoxicating, but willpower is finite. Life's unpredictability means one disruption can derail everything. When the goal is huge, a small setback feels catastrophic. The perfectionist mindset kicks in. What's the point? And we quit. This cycle trains us to believe we're the problem, but it's really our system. Relying on massive bursts of motivation is unsustainable. True change comes from small, steady actions that build over time. It's not about powering through with a lightning strike. It's about a reliable, daily current. Sustainable progress is built on consistency, not intensity. I used to believe that big changes required equally big efforts, a heroic push to overcome inertia. But I was wrong. My breakthrough came when I stopped trying to be a hero, chasing monumental achievements right from the start. Instead, I shifted my perspective and asked myself a simple yet powerful question. What's the smallest step I can take right now? Instead of aiming for a finished book, a daunting task that always felt out of reach, I committed to writing just one sentence. That's all. Instead of a full workout, the kind that leaves you breathless and sore for days, I just put on my running shoes. That was my only goal. It felt almost silly, ridiculously easy, but showing up, initiating the process, was the real goal. The act of starting, no matter how small and insignificant it seemed, changed everything about my approach. The mental friction, that resistance to beginning, disappeared almost entirely. Putting on shoes was easy, a simple act, and often led to a walk around the block. One sentence, the initial spark, became a paragraph, then another and another. A walk, initially intended to be short, became a jog, a little further each time. There was no dramatic transformation, no overnight success story. It was just quiet, consistent, steady progress, built on the foundation of small beginnings. And for the first time, I wasn't quitting, abandoning my goals before I even truly started. I was building momentum, not with brute force or overwhelming effort, but with gentle nudges, small actions that compounded over time. You don't rise to your goals through sheer willpower. You fall to your systems, the habits and routines you create. And my new system, the one that finally worked, was built entirely on starting small, on embracing the power of the first step. That's how real, lasting change begins, not with a bang, but with a whisper. The core of my new system, the foundation upon which everything else is built, is the 1% habit, improved by just 1% each day. It might not seem like much at first, but trust me, it adds up. Over time, these tiny improvements compound into massive change. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, gathering more and more snow as it goes. The 2-minute rule makes this practical. Any new habit should take less than 2 minutes to start. This removes the initial friction and makes it easier to get going. Read one page, take out your yoga mat, open your notes. Make it so easy you can't avoid it. The key is to lower the activation energy required to start. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. Showing up is half the battle. Lower the barrier to entry so your brain doesn't resist. Make it a no-brainer to get started. The 2-minute action is a gateway to bigger habits. It's the first step that leads to a longer journey. Small wins build momentum and reinforce your identity. They prove to yourself that you are capable of change. You become someone who shows up every day. Consistency shapes who you are. Each tiny action is a domino, making the next one easier. One small step leads to another. You're not just building habits, you're building unstoppable momentum. You're creating a positive feedback loop. Progress becomes automatic. That's the power of starting small. It's the secret to lasting change. Let's make this real. Want to exercise? Don't plan an hour at the gym. Just change into your workout clothes. That's your win for the day. Want to eat healthier? Start with one piece of fruit at lunch or a glass of water in the morning. For journaling, write one sentence. For learning guitar, play for 1 minute. For a tidier home, put one thing away before leaving a room. The action is less important than the consistency. Over time, these tiny steps add up. You're building a foundation, not chasing perfection. Standardize before you optimize. Make the behavior automatic, then worry about making it bigger. This is how lasting change happens. Start small and let the results compound. Tiny habits work because they align with how our brains operate. The hardest part is starting. Make it easy, and you overcome inertia. Completing a small task gives your brain a dopamine hit, creating a positive feedback loop. You feel good, so you want to repeat the action. This is how habits stick. Habit stacking helps. Link your new habit to something you already do. After brushing your teeth, meditate for 1 minute. After pouring coffee, write one sentence. Your existing routines become triggers for new behaviors. Each tiny habit is a vote for the person you want to become. Small wins shift your self-image. When your actions and identity align, change becomes effortless. You're not forcing it, you're living it. You don't need a new year to start. Begin now with one small action. Pick one area to improve. Don't try to change everything. Define your goal, then scale it down to a 2-minute version. Floss one tooth. Put on your running shoes. Read one paragraph. Anchor your new habit to an existing routine. Be specific. After coffee, write one sentence. Before bed, read one page. Make the cue obvious and the action easy. Focus on consistency, not intensity. Celebrate showing up each day. If you do your 2-minute habit, you've succeeded. You're building the identity of someone who is consistent. The results will follow. Start small, start today, and let momentum carry you forward.